Okay. Haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. I'm about to tell you why. So, a couple weeks ago, Chisholm had like a big festival. And they were like, Rob, why don't you come down and volunteer? I was like, alright, cool, I'll come down and volunteer. Chisholm, you know, countryside, big estate and shit, like people eating breakfast, the Hobbit, that kind of shit. And usually when there's a big thing to do, Chisholm's like, okay, let's do this, and then have tea, and then let's do this, and then have second tea, or whatever. And so, you know, that's kind of what I'm expecting. When I get down there, the first thing someone says to me is, where is your tent? I was like, yo, I didn't bring a tent. They said, well, you said you were going to bring a tent. It's like, no, I didn't. I did not say I was going to bring a tent. And so that was not a good sign. I slept in the tent that night, like face down, basically on wet rocks, and like people talking until 2 in the morning. Woke up to like rainstorms and shit, just like in the sleeping bag, like down like this and shit, like. I miss breakfast, but like breakfast is never really much at Chisholm because it's like gruel basically. It's just like porridge and cornflakes, and it's not really my deal. So I usually skip that anyway. But like that day, right? I was like, so what are you doing, Rob? Oh, you're working in the kitchen. Cool. I've worked in the kitchen at Chisholm before. I've worked in kitchens and, you know, paid work before. Like, cool. Okay, great. You're going to be the barista. All right, great, fine. So I was working for this, like, Gordon Ramsay type dude. And so, like, the first time, like, I see the place where I'm supposed to be working, I'm like, all right, what do you need from me? You know, it's a big 300 people come in and, like, exactly what do you need from me? He's like, well, I don't have time to tell you that now. There's people here. This is 10:30 in the morning, mind you. You know, we'll get back to it later. Like, okay, so 12 hours go by, 10:30 at night. I've been working with basically no breaks the whole time, just like running around, cooking stuff, serving food, all this kind of shit, putting shit up. 12 hours go by and it's like, all right, I expect you to have this, and this done, all this kind of shit, like, shit that he didn't tell me, like, and I'm like, yo, you didn't tell me to do anything. He's like, I don't have time to tell you everything. I'm like, well, you obviously don't have time to tell me you don't tell me anything either, because, like, I had no idea what to expect from you, what you were expecting from me. And he's like, all right, cool, come in, 10:30 tomorrow, 12 hours later, right? Get all this shit set up. And intermittently, like, I'd see this guy be like, hey, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. You know, old fucking kitchen nightmare, kitchen stadium type shit. And it's like, whoa. Not really expecting this. Okay, cool. So, 10:30 in the morning later, like, someone else is already taking care of the shit that I was supposed to take care of. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, I can't trust you. You're off the team. Like The Apprentice or some shit. And he's like, give me an apron, like in front of everybody. It's a bit much for working 12-hour days for free. You know what I mean? And it was just like, what? And then, like, at least I was done with him, but later, like, I was doing something, he was like, hey, I thought I told you to. It's like, yo. So, that was the first part. Oh, incidentally, there's no radio coverage. There's no, like, you can't get a telephone call in Chisholm. It's like you're in, like, a hill, valley and shit. Nothing's happening. You gotta walk a mile to a fucking treetop and shit to fucking get a call. So, the next, you know, after that, I'm just, like, moving chairs and shit, you know, manageable shit, whatever. But, like, oh, I didn't even explain why, like, that day that I came in at 10:30, like, I was not feeling that great to begin with. This is day 2 where I'm sleeping there. So I found a place to sleep inside. On, like, a fold-out cot, the kind of, like, where it folds in the middle. And there's only 3 other people. So I get in and I'm like, I'll go to sleep later. I'll go to sleep at 1:30 in the morning. I can go 1:30 to 7:30, 8:30, that's fine. I get in, I'm like, sleeping there. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm tired, but shit. Like, because this dude is, like, right behind me, like, snore, snore, snore. And, like, if someone's just snoring all the time, you can kind of, like, I had a girlfriend who snored, and, like, you know, you can get used to it. But he'd stop, be like, okay, and I'm like every fucking time. That one went for an hour. And then finally I was like, I'm going to sleep. And then I start hearing, after that's done, I hear, which, to those who are uninitiated, is the sound of someone, a man, masturbating in a bed in a room full of other people, pretending that other people can't hear him. 2 hours. So, here's the thing. People are like, well, Rob, why didn't you just tell him to stop? And it's like, well, because he would stop. He would do this. He'd be like, and then be like, done. I'd be like, all right, cool. And then 30 seconds later, and someone else is like, yo, why did you just go to the bathroom? He did. He did go to the fucking bathroom. He came back fucking 20 minutes later. 20 minutes later. And I was like, oh, he's done. And it's just like... And here's the thing, like, because when I was in fucking science, like, just at the fucking precipice of like, okay, yo, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. I'd get up. I'd want to get up there. He had the light on at one point. I'm like, could you not know if he's like, yeah. Guess he was looking at porn. I don't know. But like, you gotta understand, like, as a man who's had experiences, you know, who has life, and also, you know, pathos. Like, it is hard, man to be able to go up to someone and be like, yo, I can hear you jerking off. You need to cut that out. Either just fucking have it out, you know what I'm saying? Like just completely just choke the shit out of that, you know what I mean? Like it owes you $50, or like just fucking go downstairs. Because it's a shaming experience. You don't want to shame nobody else. I was shamed fucking later that day. It wasn't cool. Like, it's not like a nice thing to do to somebody else. And much as I wanted to go to sleep, I didn't really want to be like, everybody can hear you jerking off and you're keeping us up. I just didn't have the heart. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have done some tough love and be like, you need to stop choking that chicken. But that's not what I did. Okay, so fast forward, like, I didn't really get a night's sleep, and I didn't sleep in a real bed for a week. And at a certain point, I'm like, I just need to go the fuck home after a week of that shit. And I lost my hat on the fucking cab ride to Chisholm, which is fucking telling, right? Other hat, obviously. And so I go back, I get on the bus, and there's this diminutive, like, goblin-y little elf drug dealer who's like 18 or whatever. He's got like a scar on his face. And he meets guys on the bus, like waiting for the bus. And he makes friends with them. And they're sitting next to me on the bus. They have 2 lines of conversation. This kid is talking about 2 things: drug prices and people he is going to stab. One of which was the sister of one of his newfound friends, who was like, at the end of the day, right, she's like my sister. Like, welcome to Hook. Okay, so, all that, like, and I'm like, I just need to fucking die, and, like, not wake up until 3 days later, like Christ and shit. Like, just put me in a rock, you know? And I get home, and, like, right over here, like, I'm like, you know, because I had these pants still aren't clean, by the way, but I left them unworn so long that, like, the dirtiness, like, just fell off of them, so they're kind of clean now, you know? So, like, I go to open up I'm like, I just throw my shit in, and, like, because I hadn't cleaned clothes in a week, and, like, just put my shit into the wash and then go to sleep. And I open up the wash, and out comes Noah's fucking Ark, like, just, like, 10 gallons of, like, just deluge, like, whoosh. I'm like, fuck! And I was, okay, man, yo, I give up. And so, I lay down on this couch. I didn't get off this couch for a week. Like, every time I try to get off this couch, I'd be like, baby, please don't go. Please don't go. I'm like, okay. I try to get some water, be like, baby, come back. I couldn't. Just, and then, like, I'd just be sleeping for 14 hours, like. And that's how it happened.